Hello and welcome to another episode of Blue Alpine TV. In today's episode, we will talk about the results from the reversal of the Binance hacks, and we'll talk about what really happened with the Bitcoin crash. First, before we get started, make sure to sign up at bluealpineresearch.com/free-report to get a free fundamental analysis on a cryptocurrency that we think is quite interesting. Also, we will announce new projects, new documents, and you will receive those when you enter your email address here. So yesterday, we've talked about what exactly happened with Binance. Some people have actually reported that their accounts have been hacked or their funds have been sold, and they were buying, not knowingly, of course, they were buying via coin instead and then try to sell it at a high price. So in this article, today we know a bit more, and in this article it actually says what happened. So there was phishing going on before, and these people have actually gotten access to the accounts of certain people, and then there was waiting for the right moment. The hackers commanded the hacked accounts to buy via coin at extremely high prices, skyrocketing the price by several 100%. Immediately after the trades had been completed, the hackers tried to withdraw the large pool of Bitcoin they had gathered, but were unable to do due to the fast acting alarm system. And actually, one of the very interesting images that you can see here, and phishing is actually quite tricky. So maybe you can see it here. And for the podcast listeners, basically the phishing attempt was done on a URL which was, for the normal eye, it says www.binance.com. However, under the I and under the A, there is a dot. So it looks like a normal address. This could be, for example, if you share it on a forum or on Twitter or via email. But when you actually go onto the URL, you can see that these are two separate letters. And this is, for example, used for people to phish people's accounts. So you enter these addresses, and people actually have the same form where you enter your email and your password, and this then gets phished. That is why, for example, yesterday we've talked about how really important it is to have two-factor authentication in place, because even if they phish the first part of your account with two-factor authentication, most of the time you are pretty on the safe side. Nonetheless, there was a statement given by Changpeng Zhao, the CEO of Binance, and we've already commented a bit on how transparent and how quick Binance has reacted to these problems. To this day, I think Binance is one of the cryptocurrency exchanges that reacts the quickest when it comes to these issues. And he also posted this screenshot where you can see the difference in the URL. He also tweeted that Binance has reversed all irregular trades. All deposit trading and withdrawal are resumed. We'll write a more detailed account of what happened shortly. Interestingly, the hackers lost coins during this attempt. So we will wait for the official statement from Binance's side. Nonetheless, the most important thing is that people have not lost coins or funds. So everything that has happened has been returned to normal. Binance is working again without problems. But as we've already mentioned, guys, make sure to use two-factor authentication. Make sure to really check for these addresses, because this is very, very tricky. And for the normal eye, you can't even see that the I and the A actually have a dot below them. Jumping to the next news story, and this is a bit of a, well, it's a bit of a sad story, but kind of clears the issues that we've had in the last couple of months. So Mt. Gox or Mt. Gox was a cryptocurrency exchange that actually filed for bankruptcy in 2014. It was the biggest cryptocurrency exchange at the time, and it was actually the victim of quite a big hacking attack where a lot of bitcoins have been stolen. To this day, about half of these Bitcoins are still stolen. So nobody knows where they are or who holds them. However, there was, after the bankruptcy case, there has been a trustee, so a Mt. Gox trustee, and the trustee is, I had to look this up as well, is a person that when a bankruptcy case happens for a company, that person is in charge of gathering the funds or what is left and actually paying this out to the people who have actually lost money. So this is this is a person that is appointed by court normally, and this person is then in charge of managing and getting back the funds and all of these things. And in this case, for example, so the trustee has sold 35,841 Bitcoin for an equivalent of 362 million US dollars and 34,008 Bitcoin cash for 45 million. And so close to, or a bit more than 400 million US dollar equivalent of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash have been sold by this Mt. Gox trustee. And the reason is very simple. He needs to pay, or the trustee, or the job of the trustee is to pay the people who have actually lost money in this instance. So it's not something that he will keep. He has started the sales in December and he ended it in February. And there was very good research here done, and I will link this up to Matt Otto. He has done, or he has calculated, collected all the links here. A full list of transfers out of their wallets. More than half of the Bitcoin they sold, so 18,000 Bitcoin, was transferred to an exchange on February 5th, the day before Bitcoin hit its 3-month low of 6,000 US dollars. They panicked and sold the bottom. Market absorbed it well. And some people are asking, well, is this the real reason for the crisis and all of these things? We think it's actually a combination of things. So this definitely didn't help. So, I mean, for the podcast listeners, we're currently looking at the Bitcoin chart from the last 3 to 4 months. And starting in November, we had this crazy run up just until mid to end of December, where we reached close to 20,000 in Bitcoin price, and it just jumped within hours. It jumped crazy amounts, and then it actually started. So 2,000 Bitcoins have been sold here. Then this mega drop happened. Then another 9,000 dropped here. Then it actually recovered a bit and dropped again. And after the drop, another 8,000 Bitcoin have been sold. Then another 6,000, another 18,000 have been sold, actually at the lowest price or close to the lowest price of around 8,000 to 9,000 US dollars. I will link this up also in the show notes. So if you're interested in that, definitely check out in the podcast the show notes as well. This is really, really interesting. I mean, for one, it shows that a whale or a person or an organization with a lot of Bitcoin can influence the market quite easily. Of course, this is a couple of 100 million US dollars, so it's not small money, of course. But still, it just shows that the market is still very, very volatile. I want to say, if there is, for example, $1 billion company at play, moving a couple of 100 million US dollars won't have such a difference on the price, or it could have. But for example, if a company is worth like 50 billion US dollars or something, a couple of 100 million US dollars won't really move the price that much. So in this case, pretty crazy what happened. It's not really clear what exactly will happen with the amounts, because according to the court, the people who have lost money or funds during this Mt. Gox hack were actually are only allowed to get the money they have exactly lost. So if they've lost 1 Bitcoin in the price of, let's say, 1,000 US dollars, they will receive 1,000 US dollars. Now, obviously, the people who have lost the Bitcoins are really angry about this, and they're saying, look, but 1 Bitcoin price is currently, let's say, around 9,500. So they want to have that money. And technically, if you sell it at this price, it could also be that they will calculate an average price between the highest and the lowest, and then pay out the average to all the people who have lost funds. We'll definitely keep an eye on this, and the bear market is not really over. It seemed like it recovered when a couple of days ago it came close to the 12K number, but now it dropped back again to 9,000. So there's definitely some panic going on still, and this news is definitely not helping. But nonetheless, I will link this up. As always, we believe in the fundamental numbers, in the fundamental KPIs of a coin. And if you're investing long-term and diversified, and if you're only investing a certain part, then you don't care that much about the daily price, but you care about the long-term vision of a project, of a cryptocurrency. And that's exactly where we help you. If you sign up on bluealpineresearch.com /free-report, you will actually get one of those analyses that we did. As always, this is not financial advice. Do your own research, but we will help you with doing that research. We'll also point you to the right direction. And with that, guys, I want to end today's episode. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.